Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I will be teaching you all how to paint foliage in the way I do because there is no certain right way. In front of me I got some Winsor & Newton, got some white and some jet black. I like jet black because of the blue undertones. Royal and Langnickel and some Prima Watercolors. The Royal and Langnickel are sap green and lemon yellow. And I have my two favorite brushes out, 3 and a 12. Don't know what those numbers mean at all. And the Primas.
Why?
Why? Don't tell me. You did, and it was that moment I realized that my dog was not on my side anymore, that she had turned rogue, that she was against me and everything I stood for, everything about art. She was pure evil. Anyway, back to what we were doing before. Gonna clear this all off. Oh, nice and clean. So I'm gonna go through some of the Prima watercolors I used. First and foremost, the Decadent Pies. I used number 34, whose name I forgot, but it's one of my favorite colors to use. It has like a nice kind of yellow undertone, as well as 29, which is more of like a brownish yellow that I kind of use to highlight the leaves. I have some tropicals here, and my favorite color out of the tropicals to use is Parrot. It's really kind of, it's Parrot. Out of Woodlands, I really like to use Daylight, especially if I want more of like a yellow tone to it, but not too yellow, kind of want more green in that. It's Daylight. Daylight doesn't have green in it. Next one that I have going on for us is from Essence. It's Serenity. I don't really use Serenity that much. It's kind of too pastel-y for my taste. It's out of the frame anyway, so we don't have to talk about it. The other one I'd like to talk about is number 43, the brightest yellow ever. And the dirtiest yellow ever. Please don't judge me. Please don't judge my family. This is the painting that I was working on in the last video. The darker green areas, I have just mixed the black and the sap green of the Royal and Langnickel, which I'm showing you guys right here. Without further ado, we're just going to start with Parrot. I like to outline my leaves and the areas I want to put them first in a lighter tone, because as I blend, all the colors underneath kind of make everything darker and it's not as vibrant. If I notice that I messed up anywhere, just use more black. No one's gonna notice. All you have to do is blend out those areas. And if you want to lighten some areas, you just add a little bit of yellow. A little bit of that bright yellow or some of that daylight color that I showed you before. It's all the same. No one knows. No one's gonna judge you. Now another important thing to note is that an unfortunate event had occurred, and I lost the footage. I lost the footage, and this is what turned out from that lost footage. About 2 hours worth of work, and I'll try and show as much of it as I can in these next clips. It's quite unfortunate.
Why?
Quickly, I'm just going to show you the colors I kind of correspond using to the areas that have kind of more of a lightish green background. I want to keep them lighter. It's sort of the mood of the painting. The way I paint things isn't exactly how you have to paint them. This is just the way I like to do it, especially for a painting like this. I like to keep the colors kind of solid and together. Nothing too detailed. I don't want to detract from anything in the foreground, which is the character and her wolf. And in the background, I just use pure black because I want to make the front colors pop. If that makes any sense, the front colors. When in doubt, layer on more yellow until you're happy with it, because failure is only the first layer. The next layers above it hide your failures. Speaking of layers, if you want to just be lazy and use one color to do all the leaves instead of having to section them off like I did here, which was time consuming and I kind of gave up, you can just put it all in the lightest color because you can cover the lighter edges with the darker color. Who even thought of that? That's a freaking genius. I had a bit of a hard time trying to darken the light green that I had in the background, mainly because I didn't want it to get too muddy or too black, because I frequently went in with that black and my brushes were soaked. But in the end, I think it worked out pretty well. I liked putting in the little like lighter stems on those little puff balls I created, and that one I used that kind of brownish Prima color that I showed you before. I coincidentally didn't end up using that on any of the leaves, and that just kind of happens sometimes. Depending on the colors that you're going for, you don't have to use all the colors that you chose out before you. You might feel like you're obligated to, but you don't. You can mix up as many colors as you want and not use half of them, which is what I do constantly, which is why I like dipping into Prima colors, because they're pre-made and I don't have to worry about wasting paint. If you saw in that corner there in the upper, what hand am I? In the upper right corner, I kind of muddled that up a bit, and I did want to point that out that yes, I make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. The beauty of gouaches and watercolor and basically any other paint you want to use, you can wait for it to dry and you can fix it. And fixing it mostly consists of, for me at least, with something that is so light, I just go in with a slightly darker color to just make it look like more of the shape that I was hoping to get instead of like this muddied yellow. And in my opinion, it worked out pretty well. In this segment, I'm just adding some white highlights to everything. I am crazy about white highlights. I love to use my Sakura Jelly Roll. I have gone through 2 of them already. I'm on my 3rd one. And I just liberously add, is that a word, liberously? I add dots. And now, the beauty sequence. Ooh, isn't it gorgeous? All the depth, all the glory, all the lens blurs. Oh, so aesthetic. Anyways, thank you all for watching and joining me on this journey of stolen paints. Please consider visiting my Instagram and seeing all the other works I do. I really appreciate all the support. Other than that, why am I still talking? The video's over.